Hello everybody, it's Melissa with my final public speaking. Today I'm going to be talking about nursing shortage and burnout. It involves anybody with direct patient care, meaning hospitals, nursing home, assisted living, anything to that aspect. A lot of people haven't heard of nursing shortage or burnout. Basically it's based on a PPD total. Right now our PPD is a 3.5 patient care total. 2.4 of that having to be the CNAs, and 1.1 being LVNs, RNs, anything like that. So first off, what is a CNA and what do they do? So you can better understand the nursing shortage and the burnout part. A CNA is a certified nursing assistant. They're the ones who do all the direct patient care, from getting them dressed, to brushing their teeth, to reminders of brushing their teeth and how to do it, to brushing their hair, to getting them ready, to getting them set for breakfast, anything to that aspect. And the same for getting them to bed, helping them with toileting, helping them with basically any activities of daily living. Us LVNs, what do? So the main thing is we do medication administration. We do orders that come in from the doctor. We notify the doctor of changes. We do monitor of any patients, especially for like change of conditions. We notify the doctor, get new orders for that, get lab results, anything like that. We also do all the patient teaching. We do admits, discharges, and we also do staff teaching. So if you get a new patient come to the facility that is basically new to something, you know, we have to train the staff to do it. So say it's a G2 patient, we train the staff again. We educate them, because a G2 patient, they only have one or two, and maybe it's a different CNA that's never had one before. So that's generally what they do. So basically a shortage is whenever our PPD is supposed to be at 2.4 CNAs and we actually have less due to call-ins, no call, no shows, anything to that aspect. It could be anything. So basically right now, with that being said, we should have on an 8-hour shift for AM, PM, and NOC. So on an 8-hour shift for AM, we should have 10 CNAs or RNAs. Typically we will have 9 CNAs, 1 RNA. And we also would have 4 LVNs and RNs. So if we have 3 LVNs, we'd have 1 RN, so on and so forth, which normally MDS counts as an LVN. PM shift is adjusted a little bit differently. They would have 8 CNAs and 4 LVNs. And NOC shift would have 6 CNAs and 2 LVNs. So that's a lot more patients, you know, 6 CNAs compared to 10 CNAs. You're talking about a lot more patients per CNA. That's what gets people burnout, is having a lot more patients. So could you imagine having 8 CNAs on AM shift compared to PM shift? 8 CNAs on AM shift would basically give every CNA an extra couple of patients, which doesn't sound like very much to general population. Oh, CNA short. They don't realize that it's making the CNAs work twice as hard. They have twice as much work to do, and they're getting exhausted. And then if somebody calls in from PM shift, our AM shift people, you know, are kind of put in an obligation to stay. So PM shift's not short, because they know how AM shift was short. Why are they going to put PM shift in the same exact spot? So with those statistics, that's on an 80-bed facility. That is about 24 CNAs to a 24-hour shift. That's a lot of CNA staff that you should have. If you have call-ins, that means you actually technically need more than that on your payroll. So then if you have a call-in, you can try to get that position filled. Not all the time does it happen, though. That is why we have such a shortage in CNAs. And then if you look behind me, you can see the whole burnout. So a burnout is tiring staff out due to a prolonged exposure to stress and even emotional exhaustion. It can be from too many patients, too many overtime work, too many on their days off having to come into work, too much on their plate. Maybe they're going to school full-time and they're working full-time, or maybe they're going to school full-time and they work on call, but yet they're getting called in all the time and they feel an obligation, like why are they going to put their patients at risk of not getting good care? You know, so a lot of CNAs actually have that weight on their shoulders. like, oh man, you know, they called me to come into work. I'm going to work. You know, I don't know if any of you guys have ever dealt with it, but I have. Whenever you have a burnout, it can cause emotional exhaustion and just plain exhaustion, period. Whenever you have that, it means you get poor work quality, which means your patients get poor care. Not that they're getting abused or neglected, but they're just not getting the proper care as if we were completely staffed and nobody was burnt out or exhausted. Mistakes and accidents. Maybe a patient falls because that CNA is just kind of dragging their feet a little bit because they're tired. You know, instead of running to a call light being on, they're walking there, and then the patient ends up on the floor. You also have like a lot of people breaking down. And I'm not talking about just CNAs. I'm talking about us LVNs too. We have a lot of work on our shoulders, and it happens to us all the time. I'm not going to lie. I've been burnt out before. With that being said, that means most of the time there's a high turnover. CNAs end up quitting because they just need a break. You know, LVNs quit because they need a break. And basically facilities are left hiring again and hiring again. So they have a really high turnover of CNAs. You think those patients like that? That they're constantly having a different CNA? So with all that being said, no one really understands the nursing shortage and burnout until they actually have it happen to them. So I can educate you all I want, but you're not going to actually understand it until you've actually been in that spot. So being a nurse on a medication cart, you know, you need to make sure you're, no matter what kind of day you're having, what kind of day your CNAs are having, you smile, you treat them with respect and dignity and be kind and be understanding. Maybe they need a shoulder to cry on. Maybe they just need to talk to you. Like, be there for your CNAs. That's what we're here. We're a team. Remember, we are a team. So with all that being said, I hope I educated you a little bit about nursing shortage and burnout. I hope you enjoyed your presentation, and